Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Startup Sense podcast. This is your host, Jonah Lupton. Thank you for joining us today. As always, we're going to bring you a great episode in a couple seconds here. Just want to remind you to subscribe to the Startup Sense podcast on iTunes and Google Play. That way you never miss an episode. Okay, to the show. Great guy today. It is Joe Sanberg. He is the co-founder of a company called Aspiration. The website is aspiration.com. They are the fastest growing online kind of financial banking company out there that you will love. I think most of us that have bad relationships with the big banks. Personally, I've done business with Bank America, TD Bank, Wells Fargo, and a couple others, and I don't love any of them. So maybe I'll be becoming a customer of Aspiration sometime soon. So let's welcome Joe. Joe, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
You got it, man. Thanks for joining us on this great Friday. So the company is growing fast. You're about 40 employees right now. You guys have raised about $30 million from investors based in California. Like I said in kind of the intro, none of us really love our banks. So if you guys can do something better or different, hopefully we'll be doing business with you soon. So tell us exactly what Aspiration does.
Well, imagine if there were a financial firm that you loved. There's not. There ought to be, though. The financial sector is a strange sector in that, unlike the other parts of our economy where there are consumer brands like Apple that people love and trust, that there isn't such company in the financial industry. Frankly, to the contrary, as the Wells Fargo scandal laid bare last year, the relationship between financial companies and almost everyone is broken. And Jonah, it's broken in a way that can't be fixed with just a faster app or a cool new feature. Although a great app and great features are certainly part of the solution. But what's broken about the financial industry is the relationship. And to create a different kind of financial industry that works for everyone, that delivers people the financial services they need to live a great life, and that as a byproduct of that, people love their financial firm, you got to create a different kind of relationship. And that's what Aspiration.com is doing.
No,
if you wanted to create
keep going.
If you want to create a different kind of relationship, you also got to start at the heartbeat of people's financial lives. And that's why where Aspiration.com first engages most people is around a core banking account that's just better on every measurement than anything else out there.
And what makes it better, in your opinion?
Well, what makes it better is measured by some financial statistics, and it's also measured by the different kind of relationship that Aspiration establishes with people. Let me begin with the different kind of relationship, because that's at the heart of how you create a financial firm that is worthy of people loving. The different kind of relationship starts with Aspiration and people being on the same side of the table. Right now, people perceive that it's heads, their big bank wins, tails, they lose. And so we have to put ourselves on the same side of the table as our customers, which begins by our revenue model, which we call Pay What's Fair. In Pay What's Fair, you're empowered to choose us a fee, even zero, for your banking and investing accounts that you get from Aspiration. And so that puts power in the hands of our customers to hold us accountable. If they're not happy, they can pay us zero, or they can pay us a fair fee in a defined range. What we find is almost everyone chooses to pay. And we also find that it creates a different kind of relationship, because now we're on the same side of the table. It's not a situation where it's heads, we win, tails, you lose. It's we win together. And if you're not winning, you can hold us to account by not paying us. The different kind of relationship continues to our embracing the special responsibility that a financial firm has to heal the world. And as a result, we give 10% of our earnings to charity to help low-income Americans who don't yet have enough money to be Aspiration customers, who are struggling to make ends meet, and whom we lift up with microloans. The different relationship continues further to being on the same side of our customers' values. More and more people want to match their values and their money, their values and their banking, their values and their investing. And for tens of millions of people, they're horrified that the money that they're given to big banks is being used to lobby against consumer protections, or it's being used to fund projects that those customers find morally reprehensible. And so Aspiration makes clear that our values are our customers' values. We don't fund things with customer money that people would find objectionable. We're fossil fuel free. We deliver investing services to our customers that are fossil fuel free. And so all of those things come together to create really a one-of-a-kind relationship that's unlike anything people have seen in the financial industry. We're on the same side of the table as our customers. We're committed to giving to our community, and we're aligned with our customers' values.
Now, I heard about Aspiration. I saw a blog post or either listened to you guys, heard you interviewed on another podcast, went to the website, checked it out, and then I got retargeted. I think it was on Facebook, and then I reached out to the company to set up this interview because I liked what you guys were doing. But what is your marketing strategy overall? How are you guys reaching new customers and informing them about your services and offerings?
Well, our growth strategy is premised on doing so great for our customers that our customers become our best evangelists. That's the power of being beloved by your customers. You have to earn that love, and when you earn it, your customers speak for you. Continuing to that different kind of relationship, we authenticate that different kind of relationship with the actual services we deliver. So you can't just say in rhetoric all these different things. The products have to match up to those values. Our banking account pays people a dignified rate of interest on their balances, up to 1%. In our banking account, you're able to access your money at any ATM in the world for free, never pay an ATM fee ever again. We deliver investment services that are fossil fuel free, firearm free, and generate extraordinary returns. Aspiration's fossil fuel free Redwood Fund is in the top 1% of large cap mutual funds in America for performance. And so those financial statistics are important too. The ultimate solution has to be about marrying values and services. And so you hear from the different kind of relationship we establish, which we extend into products that are just financially better for people, that deliver better outcomes. You can see how customers become really enthusiastic about what it means to be with Aspiration, and then tell their friends about Aspiration. And that virality is the most powerful tool of our growth.
Okay, so word of mouth is a big piece of the marketing. Have you guys gotten into paid marketing, influencer marketing? I'm sure social media is pretty active for you guys as well. So maybe outside of word of mouth, what's been the best marketing channel for you?
Well, when I say word of mouth, I mean technological word of mouth.
Okay.
People sharing us on social media, using
cool.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and email referrals to expand the Aspiration community to their friends.
Are you guys big into kind of blogging and creating content and educating people on, what they need to be doing differently in their, for their financial welfare?
Yes. In fact, we have our own online magazine, which you can find at makechange.aspiration.com.
Oh, cool. Okay. When did you guys start that?
We launched that in the fourth quarter of last year.
Okay. And did you guys launch these investment services the same time as you launched your banking services, or did one come first?
We launched our banking service in July of 2015,
Okay.
and we launched our most popular fossil fuel-free investing service in the fourth quarter of 2015.
Okay, cool. Now, you guys raised a bunch of money. I mean, I know you've done it in tranches or rounds. You have some really, really good investors as part of the group. I know a few of these guys personally, but when did you raise that first round? And I assume it was before you actually launched the banking product, right? I mean, you guys needed some capital to build out the platform.
You're right. We raised our seed funding in 2013. We raised further institutional funding in 2015 and again in 2016. Okay,
cool. Because you're also part of a group called Aspiration Growth. Is that an angel fund or a small VC fund?
Yeah, it's a group of growth investing funds that I have with several other partners.
Okay.
That is a different organization from Aspiration.com.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I remember doing a little bit of due diligence on them, and I see that group listed as one of the investors. So, with regards to Aspiration, okay, so you guys are not opening any brick and mortar stores, strictly online, growing fast. So what does the hiring look like, and how do you recruit the type of talent that you want to join the team?
Well, we're hiring fast. And the centerpiece of our hiring is reaching people that believe in the mission and the purpose of Aspiration.com. The purpose of Aspiration.com is a serious one. Tens of millions of Americans, really almost every American, isn't getting the financial services that they need. And that has serious consequences to our lives. It means you don't have the money you need to buy a home, fund retirement, send your kids to college, and to realize your dreams. And we take really seriously that to create a different kind of financial firm, to create the financial firm that is going to be the next big financial firm, that's going to replace the broker relationship between Wells Fargo and customers, right? To reach the moment when Aspiration.com is the largest financial firm in America, it has to start from recognizing the serious historic purpose that this mission has. And what brings together our team and the people that want to work at Aspiration.com is the seriousness of purpose.
Now, certainly when it comes to banking, and this is one reason that, my previous banking relationships have all kind of failed, is when there's a problem, no one really seems to care. It's my problem to figure out on my own, and no one from that bank is really going to help me. So kind of customer service fails. How do you guys do customer service differently? I mean, I assume if you're trying to build an online brand, that's got to be your number one goal, right?
Absolutely. Well, we have a big customer service team in our headquarters near Los Angeles. Human customer service is really important because this is a human company. And a big part of our purpose is to reinstill humanity into financial services. And, the best way to do that is to actually make human beings available for our customers when they need help. The biggest fundamental point of customer service is remembering that our customers have the power to pay us zero if they're unhappy, which means that as a company, Aspiration.com is obsessed with one thing. We are obsessed with making our customers extremely happy and satisfied. And that's really different from the incentives at the big banks like Wells Fargo. And you saw that borne out in the Wells Fargo scandal. That scandal last year where Wells Fargo stole money from 2 million of its customers was born of terrible misaligned incentives between Wells Fargo and its customers. And we're the perfect antidote to that. Our incentives are only onefold: make our customers so happy and satisfied that they want to pay us even when they don't have to. Imagine, Jonah, if Wells Fargo customers had the power to pay Wells Fargo zero. I think we know what would happen. Almost nobody would pay.
Oh, for sure. No, I remember
contrast,
that scandal. I remember seeing the CEO, on Capitol Hill trying to defend his company, defend himself. And I mean, what they did is just unbelievable. They broke so many laws and so much trust.
So contrast that with Aspiration, where our customers actually have the power to pay us zero.
That's awesome.
And almost everyone voluntarily chooses to pay us.
Now, on average, the typical person or household, however you want to characterize it, how many relationships do they typically have with financial companies? Banking, credit cards, mortgage, car loans, everything else. I mean, it's got to be a bunch, right?
They have a bunch, and they don't want to have a bunch. But the reason that they have a bunch is there isn't one place that they trust and love. It used to be, way back in our parents' era, that you'd have most of your financial relationships, if not all of them, at the one place you trust and love. But those relationships have become fragmented, as you described, Jonah, because there isn't any financial company that people love.
Right.
The extraordinary responsibility that Aspiration has and the extraordinary opportunity we have is by becoming the place that our customers love, our customers want to do everything with us. Every day we have tons of customers who are asking us for products that we don't yet have, which is exciting and one of the reasons we're working really hard to grow fast so that we can deliver to our customers all of the financial services they want, from mortgages to insurance to personal lending to tax prep.
I think people used to love their local community banks, but most of those community banks are gone. They've been gobbled up by the big companies that we all are forced to use now. So, okay, so there's got to be a big part of the population. It's the same people that thought buying a car online was probably crazy 10 years ago, and now more and more of us are doing it. it's kind of the same with online banking, right? I mean, people are used to walking into their bank and doing deposits and taking cash out. So how do you get people over that hurdle? Or are the older people never going to buy into this? They're always going to use the local bank. And you guys are really focused on the younger generation, the millennials that have grown up with technology and feel more comfortable with it.
Oh, Aspiration has community members that span all ages.
Okay.
Of course, younger people are, more comfortable doing things online, but baby boomers there are tons of baby boomers who are enthusiastic about doing their banking online too.
What's been the most difficult thing starting this company? I mean, was it getting through all the regulatory stuff or was it something else?
Well, what's hard about building a financial company is what ought to be hard about it. It's a heavily regulated sector, and people have very high expectations of their financial services. We're not in the business of launching a new photo sharing app. We're delivering services that are really at the center of people's lives. And it's a serious business, and it's heavily regulated, as it should be, because these services matter to people's livelihoods. And so, as opposed to other industries where, as a new entrant, you can, if you will, iterate and launch something that's less than optimal and then evolve it with customer feedback. When you're emerging in the financial industry, you have to meet all of your regulatory requirements up front, and you also have to build a product that meets the highest expectations of your customers up front. And as a result, it takes a long time to get ready to go to market. We spent about 2 years building Aspiration.com before we started taking customers. And that's how it should be. And this is a serious business, and it's a serious industry. And, it should require more than, a couple of weeks of brainstorming and a couple of months of coding, because the stakes are high. We're handling people's banking and investing lives, and we better get it right. We are getting it right, and I'm really proud of that, but it's not something you get right overnight. And that's why we spent 2 years building the company before we started taking customers.
So I remember, I don't know if it was 3, 4, 5 years ago, there was a online banking company that started up out of Boston. I used to know one of the founders. I honestly can't remember the name of the company right now. They eventually went out of business. So, I mean, I know it's a tough business model because the margins are really, really thin when it comes to, financial products in general. So how are you guys going to, make sure that you can sustain the growth and keep Aspiration in business for the, hopefully decades to come?
Because we're building a movement. Aspiration is bigger than just its financial products. It's a movement that people believe you should treat others humanely, that it matters the services you deliver to people, and that you ought to be on the same side of the table as your customers. Those are things that strike at our basic human sensibilities, and it's unlocking a level of enthusiasm that's frankly uncommon in the financial industry. Otherwise put, Aspiration is the place where people are going to match their values and their money. And there are tens of millions of people, especially young Americans, who are extremely passionate about matching their money and their values. And Aspiration is the one place where you can match your values and your banking, your values and your investing, and with some new features that we'll be launching throughout the course of 2017, your values and your spending. So stay tuned for more new ways that Aspiration becomes really aligned with people's values and their vessel for expressing those values in the world. That's something that's more enduring and frankly more exciting than your typical financial firm.
In terms of hiring, I forget if you mentioned this. I'm always trying to come up with new questions in my head, so sometimes I miss a couple things. But what types of people are you hiring right now? What specific positions, in case anyone's listening to this podcast that is looking for a career change?
Well, first and foremost, we're looking for people who are passionate about the purpose of building the next great financial firm that's going to replace Wells Fargo with an approach and a set of values that earns and deserves people's trust and love. More specifically, we're looking for people who have engineering skills, design skills, financial analytical skills, and who want to be part of something that's, in our view, going to change the future of the country.
Awesome. Okay, so a lot of obviously tech-minded people, analytical, sales, marketing, customer
Absolutely.
service,
Yes.
all.
Yes.
How do you
My basic message is, if you are hardworking, if you think that building the next great company to replace Wells Fargo as a leading financial firm that people love and trust and that deserves people's love and trust is exciting, then you ought to apply for a job at Aspiration.
How has your typical day or week changed, from 2 years ago when you started the company to now?
Well, it continues to just get more and more hectic in a great way. I mean, this is just a blessing of a lifetime to be able to have this kind of platform and opportunity to create a financial firm that people deserve. We're in the business of making people's lives better. And in our view, the more effective we make people's lives better, the more valuable our company becomes. It's a perfect alignment, if you will, between do well and do good. To be clear, we're building a serious business that we think is going to be, and already is, an extremely valuable business. It's extremely valuable, though, because of the purpose we're delivering for people.
So in terms, actually, it's a good entree into this. So in terms of value, you guys own a great domain name, aspiration.com. I think a lot of founders, when they start their company, they'd love to have, a really great name, but it's either not available or it's just too expensive. When did you guys make the decision to purchase aspiration.com? And can you give us a ballpark on how much you paid for it? And, are you glad you did it?
Well, we bought Aspiration.com in the very early days before we started taking any customers, and I'm very grateful that we did it. It was the right decision. It wasn't a cheap decision. It was an expensive domain, as you'd imagine. But remembering that we're a serious business addressing serious needs of a lot of people, those are the kinds of subtle signals that show people that we understand that seriousness. I mean, where do you want to do and trust your online financial life? You want to trust it with a company that you know is going to be around for a long time, led by a group of people who understand the seriousness of the task. And making the upfront early investment in things like a proper and serious URL like aspiration.com is one of the many ways that you signal to people we are in this for the very long haul and we understand the seriousness of this task.
Totally agree. I just bought my first premium domain name about a week ago. I'm making monthly payments on it, though. I didn't have all the cash to plop down all at once, but I appreciate the value of a good domain name and branding your company the right way. So totally agree.
Thanks.
Where do you see this company in a year or two? Or what are your top one or two goals for Aspiration for 2017?
That we're going to continue to grow exponentially, that we're going to continue to build out additional services so that we can meet our customers' demands for all of their financial services, and that we continue to create a movement that shows people you can do well and do good at the same time, and that, in fact, you do the most well by doing good.
I don't think I've ever asked this question to a founder before, but maybe in your case, it's kind of relevant. What are some of the demographic numbers in terms of male versus female, average age? Do you have any of those numbers handy? Are you able to share any of them?
I do, and I'm happy to share them. And I think that it tells a powerful story, which is, as opposed to most technology companies that have heavy concentrations in certain demographics and geographies, the Aspiration community is widely distributed. Aspiration community members are pretty evenly split between men and women. Aspiration community members live where Americans live. There aren't any special concentrations to any one city or geography, which is quite different from most online companies.
Right.
Aspiration community members span the spectrum of income. We have community members who have high incomes, middle incomes, and low incomes. Aspiration community members are a bit younger than the population, but we have a lot of Aspiration community members who are, older, just as we have some that are just turning 18. And I think that all speaks to the power of the Aspiration set of values, that it's cutting across any demographic that you can categorize. That we're building this movement of ultimately tens of millions of people who want more from their financial company and see in Aspiration the solution to their wants.
Right. I think people would love, like we said in the pre-call, your banking assets are, potentially your most valuable assets, maybe outside of a house. So making sure that someone actually takes care of them for you, and you can reach them when there's a problem, and that they care about you and this and that. I mean, that's a valuable relationship and a long-lasting one if you guys can build it. Do you think, say I'm a 35-year-old guy with $30,000 in the bank, and I'm doing business with a local bank right now that I don't love. Would someone typically give you guys maybe half of that money and just kind of start the relationship off? And then assuming things go well, then they move everything else over? Like, do people just like to kind of, stick their toe in the water when it comes to online banking?
It depends. There's some people that like to start with a dip of the toe in the water, and there's some people that move everything over from the get-go. And, we welcome both and, respect that it's a matter of personal preference. We think that once you try us out, you're going to love us and want to move everything over. Of course, we're excited when people move everything from the beginning, but we're also happy for people to test us out because we think that we're going to earn your trust and that soon enough you're going to want to do everything with us.
Awesome. A couple last questions for you. If someone was to, you sit down with an entrepreneur, and I guess not most of us dream of starting a new financial company because we know how daunting it can be. And I mean, I've come from that business and I know how long it takes to build a company like you're building, but you guys are obviously off to a great start. But so just general advice for anyone looking to start a business in the next year. What have you kind of learned? And I know you've had other ventures in the past and you do investing, so you've probably seen this from a million different angles, but do you have any favorite entrepreneurial advice you like to give people?
Match your entrepreneurship to a problem that you want to solve. Make your entrepreneurship inspired by delivering a solution to a problem that's worth solving.
So basically, if you don't have the passion to do it, you're probably not going to get it right, or you're not going to follow through and stay motivated.
In addition, make sure that your passion is directed towards the solution of a problem that's afflicting a lot of people.
Right. Okay.
Because if you solve something that causes a lot of pain for a lot of people, your solution is going to be valuable, and great people are going to be drawn to your mission and support you.
Right. I mean, your addressable market with this is literally in the hundreds of millions of people. So that's a pretty big opportunity.
Thank you, and you're right.
Any closing words for us? I guess certainly go to the website aspiration.com. I'm sure you guys are adding new customers every minute of the day, which is exciting. But how can we connect with you personally?
Me personally, you can find me on Twitter at Joseph N. Sanberg. My Facebook is open to anyone as well. And my closing message is this. We actually have to fix things. And we can. And that's the entrepreneurial spirit. And I hope to listeners who are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur or who are already an entrepreneur know that it's a special charge we have as entrepreneurs in this moment in time. There are a lot of things that are broken that are causing a lot of pain and suffering for a lot of people. And we actually have to fix things. And we can.
I hope you guys can. I mean, it sounds like you guys are doing a wonderful job. And hopefully in the next couple of months, I'll be a new Aspiration customer. So, and when that happens, I'll let you know, and you guys can put a special deposit in my account for me.
All right. Thank you.
Well, Joe, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your time today. Super exciting what you guys are up to over there. And I want to wish you, more success, and feel free to come back anytime and give us some updates.
Thanks, Jonah.
You got it, man. Talk to you soon. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.